Welcome. Thank you for having me today. My name is Paulette Markel and I'm an international consultant. And I've had 15 years of experience working with people throughout the world. I'm hoping that today you will be able to learn from some of the experiences that I've had working with the French, the Germans in Europe, the Brazilians in the Americas, and the Chinese and Japanese in Asia. But today we're going to concentrate on China. So we're going to take a very quick trip through China, and at the end of the journey we're going to have 3 objectives. Number 1, subjective culture, which is understanding about yourself. Number 2, cultural literacy, which is understanding the culture and the values of other people. And number 3, once you understand the first 2 and accept the differences, you will be able to communicate and form cultural bridges with other cultures, and specifically today the Chinese. Now I'm going to use an analogy of an iceberg. And in an iceberg you have a portion of it that's above the water and a portion that's below. When you first meet a person, you hear what they say and you see their behavior by their body language. And that's only 10% of that person, of who they really are. And yet you're judging them in 3 to 5 seconds. What you do not see, because it's invisible to you, is their cultural values. Those are the things that are internalized. And these are things they learn as they grow up, and you've learned as you've grown up. And they come from your gender, your religion, your parents, the ethics and morals that they teach you, the social norms and habits that you've learned from your relatives and your peers, also the customs that you've learned, your experience in life and your job, and also your language. Now by the time you're 10 years old, you have internalized 85% of those values that you've learned. By the time you're 18, you have set 99% of those values. The 1% comes from your education as an adult, your job experience, and your life. And the only way you are going to change any of those values that are in you are through a significant emotional experience, or attending a retreat or a seminar that gives you that aha moment where you think to yourself, maybe it's time for me to look at things a little differently. And that's where you will learn how to communicate, how your behavior is different, and how to negotiate with others from other cultures more readily. Now I talked about values changing. Let me give you an example. I'm originally from Hawaii, and I'm Chinese, Filipino, Spanish. But I was raised in a Chinese culture by a first-generation Chinese mother. I went to school in Hawaii and learned American values at school. And I learned Hawaiian values from my friends. And these came from all the different ethnicities that came to Hawaii in the 18 and 1900s. Those Hawaiian values are still strong today. And it's called the Aloha Spirit. But it's changing over time because you have different ethnicities moving into Hawaii. Well, the same thing happens with values in your own family. We are now in the 4th generation. And so let's take a look at how my grandchildren are being brought up today in terms of American values. But before we go into that, I need to explain a little bit about the background of the value wheels that we will be using today. We have value wheels for Americans, Chinese, Brazilians, French, Germans. There are about 25 plus different cultures that we country. So let's start with American values. The first value